So I got a question. So I was talking to a friend and she told me her sister-in-law is pregnant and she's like going through prepartum, meaning she's depressed about being pregnant. She don't have no kids, but she had told herself, I don't want no kids. And I told my friend, and my friend was like, I'm worried about her. And I told my friend, I was like, you ever think that she may be thinking about maybe what she saw growing up? Like, I was asking, like, was her mom doing everything? Daddy went to work, came home, didn't really help with the kids. And she said, I never honestly really thought about that. And that made me think about my own journey as like a mom. I've always wanted to be a mom, but now that I'm a mother, this is why I always say being a woman can sometimes feel like a scam. We could be a dual household, we both working. But if one's working, coming home and going to sleep, not really being involved with the kids, you can be married or be in a relationship and feel single because you're doing everything and feel overworked. And I think sometimes when you are a woman with just as much dreams and ambition, we go to work and society makes it where we go to work. We come home. We not off work. We in mama mode. And I'm not saying dads be off work being a dad, but we're the ones preparing dinner, cleaning up, making sure the kids is showering and getting ready for the next day and etc. I'm fortunate enough to say that me and my husband have found our own rhythm to our own dance, and that with a lot of growth and reflection, we are able to be more of a team, and I'm grateful of that. But I know that's not for every household. That's not the expectation in every household. Some women live in a household where the man go make the money and he comes home and maybe get drunk or just lay around, don't really help. Me and my husband, we do a dance. And sometimes he don't hear me when I'm falling in our dance and I have to remind him. But I do know that when I first became a mom, because I was 19 and I just didn't know, especially seeing so many of my friends and their relationships not working out. I remember having a fear like, oh snap, I don't want to be a single mom, and just the fears of what type of mom am I going to be. My mom was gone. Just like, how do I be a mom? How do I, without even knowing self, right? So 19, you don't know who you are. You don't know what you're going to become. You might have an idea. You might be dreaming, or you might be coasting. And I was one of those people that was coasting. I had dreams and ambition when my mother was alive. But when she passed, those dreams went down somewhere far. And I regained them probably once I was like 28. Those dreams resurfaced. And that's when I felt worthy enough to even take that. But look how long that took, from 19 to 28, for me to really be like, why didn't I go in my purpose? But I let my mother's death deter me. And I really didn't have like that dream anymore. Like when I was young, before my mom passed, I was like, I want to get married, have kids. When she passed, and be a teacher and a hairstyle. I had all these things, right? And when she died, that went on a. But I'm just saying, were you ever the person who didn't want kids or wanted kids but had fears? If so, moms, what were your fears? Was it fear of not having a team effort? Do you find yourself living in those fears? I want to know, because it's a reason why, as women, when we find out we're mothers or becoming a mother, we are depressed. I know after I had my second child, when I got pregnant with my third child, he was a whoops. We did it again. Oops, I did it again. He was one of those. And I remember going through prepartum because I had just got to the point where my daughter was in Head Start and I felt like I can kind of pretty much have a life again. But once I got pregnant, I talked to my doctor and said, why you keep letting me leave here? Seeming disinterest and just not caring. She said, because she was like, you're a good mother. If you weren't a good mother, you wouldn't even be at this doctor's appointment. You wouldn't even be the mom that you are to your children. And I'm just like, she was like, you may be mad and feel like you're putting your goals and I don't want to say when you get pregnant, you're putting your goals behind, but real life happened. We got to pay these bills. We got to do these kids, the existing kids. I didn't know how it would look with 3 kids. Granted, I have 2 bonus kids, but it's a difference when you have 3 kids all the time versus one that come every other weekend or one that come every week. It's a big difference. But I was literally depressed because I'm like, here we go again. I'm back with no sleep. I finally got this baby on sleep. My oldest son, of course, is sleeping on a good But I'm like, here we go again. Now I got to put my dreams and aspirations again. Not able to do, but behind or at a slower pace than what I would want to go. And if you being real with yourself, because people like say, well, having kids doesn't stop you from dreaming. Yes, it does. If you do not have the village and the support. It is just me and my husband and my friends and some of my family. Very slim. But I don't have the grandma that come and help, the granddaddy that come and help. My mom has passed. My dad, he ain't that type of dad. And I know he ain't. But he's a great granddad. He comes around and hang around. But he's not one of the granddads that come and grab the kids and take them to soccer for you and basketball. He's not that person. He would, but he just doesn't have that type of flexibility. And then my husband's mom, she's not involved. She's just not. She didn't want to be a grandparent, apparently. So if you don't have the great support system when having children, you have to tell yourself these realities. But if you have a great support, you most likely can obtain your goals at a way more faster pace. But if you don't, you pretty much trucking and figuring it out, and you're going to have a lot of bumps in the road. And that's the life that me and my husband had to live. And that is why we lean on each other as a team like we do. So, the question is, what were your thoughts before becoming a mother? Did you want to become a mother? And if so, what did you take from your mother into your motherhood? But what were your fears? What were your thoughts? What made you say this is hard or this is easy? Because I can tell you, those times my mom looked tired and worn out, I can relate to her so much. And I wish I could tell her that. Those times I seen my aunties holding it down, single moms doing it. Those times when I could tell, like, they don't say it, but you can see it, you can sense it, you can feel it. Because I always be like, well, let me help. Because I could tell this is a lot, What was that? Like, and it makes me, now I can identify and say, I understand. And I still think being a mom is a scam. But me and my husband got a great dance. And I think that as long as you have a great partner, you can dance and great support. But what were your fears? What were your thoughts? What were some things as a mother that made you be like, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be? Or these were the fears I had before, etc.